Welcome back to Two Film Buffs, and here's 3 theories about Back to the Future.
Wow.
At number 1, Marty McFly's family incestual line. This theory asks the question, is Marty's family incestual? In Back to the Future 3, when Marty goes back into the West in 1885, after running away from a bear and knocking himself out on a plank of wood, he is saved and brought in by his great-great-grandfather, Seamus McFly, who is also being played by Michael J. Fox, to obviously show a resemblance to his past ancestors. Marty wakes up and he is met by his great-great-grandmother, Maggie McFly. But, wait 1 second, she looks exactly like his mother in the movie played by Leah Thompson, who is actually playing his great-great-grandmother, Maggie McFly. And as a kid I thought it was like the same as Marty playing the great-great-grandfather and his mother playing the great-great-grandmother because they look alike, and it made sense to me as a child. But as an adult I see this differently. How could his mother possibly have any resemblance to his great-great-grandmother if they're not related? In fact, they look identical. However, one thing I do know from playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2 is that there was a lot of incest going around in those Western times. Both the McFly families and the Baines families both lived in Hill Valley at both times and stayed there in the future. It's very probable that Seamus and Maggie had another child, possibly a daughter this time. That daughter went on to marry a man with the last name Baines. Their family lines went down, they both stayed in Hill Valley, and eventually in 1955 George McFly would get with Lorraine Baines, connecting the families both together.
Because it's a circle. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think that Marty McFly's bloodline is incestual? Or do you think it was just another play on a joke, much similar to the other 2 movies, where Marty McFly plays younger versions of himself in the future, as so does Biff Tannen? At number 2 we have, is there a second DeLorean? This one took me a while to wrap my head around, so please give me a sec as we talk about time travel and it can get a bit complicated. So at the beginning of Back to the Future 3, Marty is with Doc in 1955. He doesn't have a time machine on him right now, because that DeLorean has been sent back to 1885 with Doc from 1985. And Doc says that he leaves that DeLorean in a cave for Marty to find in the future with Doc from 1955. Because Doc left the DeLorean there in 1885, it is still there in 1955 for it to be picked up by Marty and Doc. So Marty takes that DeLorean back to 1885, the fuel tank gets damaged by the arrow, Marty and Doc try to repair it, something in the car blows up and the car just simply will not work. And as Doc says, it will take him like a really long time to repair it. Obviously because they don't have the parts because they're in 1885. But the last time I was watching this, and this is where the theory kicks in, isn't there another DeLorean? The one that Doc hides for Marty to find in the future. Surely that DeLorean is still in the cave. Now I know what you're going to say.
Car was struck by lightning, it can't work because Doc would have used it to go back in time anyways.
But surely they could have used some, or probably even most of the parts that were intact from the DeLorean. If that car was fine enough to be fixed within like a few days back in 1955, surely there's enough stuff that you can work with there. I mean, I truly believe that the Doc from 1985 is a lot smarter than the Doc from 1955 just due to creating the freaking time machine. But what do you guys think? Was there another DeLorean that they could have used to help repair the other car?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
At number 3 on our list, we have Doc's multiple time travels and multiple Martys. This theory goes into Doc using the time machine to go back in time a lot more times than he actually revealed. I do believe that this theory has a fair bit of fluidity behind it. And as where Doc actually needed Marty to do a lot more of his time travel than him, due to himself traveling through time so much and creating time anomalies. We see this, even though past Doc in the future warns Marty about not warning himself about a future outcome due to the risks of what can happen in his world, Doc ignores his own advice by saving his own life in the future. Now, did Doc in the past just happen to read this letter then save himself? Or did this situation happen before? And a very wounded, shot at by the Libyans, Doc Brown jumps into the time machine, goes back in time to warn himself about what happened, creating an even crazier Doc Brown that we actually see at the beginning of Back to the Future. We also see this in other ways of how Doc just happens to meet Marty at the right place at the right time, always in a specific location. And then he can happen to save Marty at the right place at the right time with just the right material to use. In so many movies, he picks him up with the flying DeLorean in number 2, he also catches him off a building in number 2, and then he saves him from being hung in number 3. I mean, let's face it, if one of those stunts ever went wrong, other than the one in the West, if he was just in the DeLorean, oops, he dropped Marty, just quickly right in the time, go back in time, and then make sure it works. It really does leave you to wonder, how many times did these situations go wrong and Doc have to redo it? But that's all we got time for today, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to know what other Back to the Future theories you got. Put them down below. Let's start up a good conversation, and we'll see you next time.